Mic check. Okay. So in the duck.h, we're going to add a flyaway timer. This will be the amount of time. Flyaway time. This is how much time the duck stays on the screen before it flies away. What do we say? 5 seconds is default? Is that too long?
No.
It's a little too short.
Yeah, it's too short. I'd say 15 seconds.
What?
I say like 10.
If you can't shoot a duck in 5 seconds, you don't deserve to play. Get out. I don't know. We will adjust the time as needed. So state timer plus equals delta if state timer exceeds the flyaway time duck state equals what?
Fly away.
Fly away. And then what? We break. Sometimes you want to set your timers down to low numbers just for testing purposes. Especially if your build time gets really crazy. If your load time gets really crazy, then shorter timers are good. And you put in like cheat keys to revive the duck and test it again. Right here I'm going to set state timer back to 0. Just so it's 0 transitioning into the flyaway state. I don't know if we'll need one there.
Shouldn't you have it before you transition to the flyaway state? If you're in the flyaway state, you wouldn't even reach it.
Well, right here we're adding the state timer. We're adding delta to it every time.
Right.
We're checking that against the threshold for when he has been alive for too long.
Right.
Then we change the state to flyaway.
So if it's in flyaway, is it no longer in alive?
No longer in alive because
we reach the state timer equals 0.
Well, the break comes after that. It will still run the next line of code. It will run this line and then it will break. That gets us out of this case and we will drop into the flyaway case. Actually, the break gets us out of the switch. Next loop we will enter the flyaway state. That puts his velocity at 0, his Y velocity at triple speed upwards, and change the animation to flyaway. This actually should happen when we enter this state. So let's take that line out and move it up here. That way there's no reason to set this every loop. This only needs to happen once. Alright, and then here he just flies away. He can still be shot, I believe. Yeah, he can still be shot, which is how the game works. The only thing else we need to do is change the background. So really that belongs to the level. So I guess if the level needs to check on the duck and see if he's in the flyaway state. If that happens, we change the background to white or that light pink color, whatever it is. What is it, Shannon? What? You don't play duck hunt?
Nope.
Okay, let's test this out. Okay, that works. He flew off after about 5 seconds. 5 seconds may be too short.
Yeah, it looks like that make it move faster.
In general,
Yeah.
should it be proportional to the level?
Good point.
I don't know. We can iron out all the cutesy stuff later. We want the mechanics in there and working, and we have that.
So should we like destroy it once it like, gets off screen?
Yes. So let's do that. If position dot y is what?
It's greater than.
Less than 0.
Less than 0. That means we're off the screen. It really should be less than 0 plus the height, which anything plus 0 is just that thing. So let's just say less than rectangle dot height. Now, do we create the duck on the fly, or we turn it off and on?
You turn it off because you have to have the dog come out and laugh at you first.
Not because of that. It's our choice. We can choose to delete the duck, or we can choose to just have a bool that disables it.
Let's delete it.
Or we'll try that. We're still gonna have to bool. We can't delete the duck in the duck. I mean, you can say delete this, but that leaves a dangling pointer, because whatever the pointer was pointing at this duck is now pointing at garbage.
Okay, let's do a bool then.
And that's bad, so we need to say, or do we already have a bool for alive or dead? I don't see one. It's the immortal duck. What? Bool is dead equals false. And duck CPP fly away is dead equals true. We'll need to set this also when we shoot him, because like when he falls off the screen,
You can only shot once.
we already got the only shot once in there, but so that when he goes off the screen, we need a new duck to appear, so the same bool will have to be tripped. And that will be inside this if statement. Inside this if statement, we'll say if position.y is greater than what?
0.
What's our screen height?
1280.
That's the width.
600. 720. 720.
Okay, so if its position is greater than 720, is dead equals true. Alright, now the duck is made to die, so we can go to the game state and turn him, we can delete him if he's dead, and we'll create a new one simultaneously. So right here out in duck update, somehow we need to update more on the duck. If the duck is dead, delete duck, duck equals new duck, and what all is involved with creating a new duck? It needs the renderer, and it needs all this setup stuff. So let's copy this. We may change this later. And paste.
Sorry, where are we?
We're in game state level. If the duck's dead, we delete the duck. We create a new duck. The duck needs the renderer, that's important. And then we can randomize this position. So we can say rand mod 600. Or we can do like 500 plus 100. Just to should give us some margin so he doesn't appear on the very edge.
Where'd you get those position derecognize?
From our level constructor up here. I mean, really, we could call the create duck function we made and do all of this in here, and we may do that eventually. But for right now, this code's okay right here. It's kind of sloppy, but it will serve the purpose. We can do the same thing here. We can say rand mod 200 plus 100. $300. That's the Y. Well, Y should be, I guess that's good, between 100 and 400, and this can actually be a lot bigger. Random duck. Let's try that. Bam! Bam! Let's see if flyaway works.
It crashes once it goes off screen.
I've got somewhere my logic is wrong because he's disappearing before he actually gets off the screen. So
I think he's disappearing as soon as the top of the sprite is reaching 720 instead of the bottom of the sprite.
yeah, so something I have in there backwards. In the flyaway class, if his position Y is less than the height, sorry, that should be negative height, then he flies off the screen. That's better, and then that creates a new duck. Hopefully our next duck appears somewhere else. He's always appearing over here.
So where'd you put the negative?
In the case flyaway, the stick with position Y is
That should be a negative right here.
negative.
Hey, Allie, mine's showing up in random places.
Okay, it is. It is. I just happen to get similar place. You can't shoot him in flyaway?
No, he's invincible.
That's cheating.
No, he's not cheating. Oh, it can. Totally did too.
Every time it flies away or like it gets off screen, it crashes.
What does it say? What is your error?
It has something to do with the STL render copy. The duck CPU at the bottom.
What does it say? Does it give you an error message?
No, not really. It just ends.
All right. I will come back to that. When we take a break, I will go around and help anyone who's crashing. All right, that covers that mechanic. That works. What else do we need to do? You can adjust timers later if you want to. If you think you need 15 seconds, whatever you want to do with that, that's fine. We should also have different ducks. We kind of have to decide though, what do we want to do? We're not going to have time to finish the game, so it's we just pick out the things we want to do and put those in.
Different speeds.
It's launch day. We'll put the patch out.
Just pull an
It's
EA.
like a 20 gigabyte game.
Yeah, we'll just pull an EA.
60
When we buy
gigabyte
the
patch.
game, it's not actually.
That's 5 gig game, 20
Day
gig
one,
patch.
20 gig patch. So like the
That's what it was
like
for
that Tony
Call of
Hawk
Duty.
one. We're gonna have
Loot
that-
boxes out the wazoo.
Bro, come
I
on,
like
we're
the
here.
idea
Like,
of, like,
Each level being
Yeah, you
the
can make
different
like
color
dark
ducks, and then they
skins,
go
loot
faster.
boxes.
And then after that, there's just
and
more
then like once they
of
buy different things, just like.
Okay, so-
Just make like a new season.
A random number with a random speed.
We have to complete a level, and then there's faster ducks.
faster duck is a different color.
Faster or slower?
All right. So we need the idea of completing a level. That means we need to keep track of how many ducks have been shot, or at least how many have appeared. So let's handle that. Game state .h. Every level is going to have a number of ducks that have been created and number of ducks shot. So int ducks created equals 0, int duck shot equals 0. Everyone follow why I chose to do this here?
No.
Where would you do it? In options?
No.
In the duck? The duck doesn't control how many ducks have been created or how many have been shot. This belongs to the level, that's why I put it in the level. This information is part of a level. How many ducks have been created, how many have been shot. It's part of a level, that's why you put it there. Alright, game state.cpp, down in the level, update. Anytime we create a new duck, that counter needs to go up. Ducks created ++. And anytime a duck is shot, that counter needs to go up. So anytime we call kill duck, we will also say duck shot ++. And now we can keep track of how many have been created and also how many have been shot. Now, regardless of how many have been shot, when ducks created equals 11, we create this one duck at the beginning of the level. So here, ducks created needs to equal 1. I probably should have just initialized it at 1, but that's fine. Ducks created equals 1. Alright, so progression. We need a new duck, a faster duck. Once we do hit a certain number of ducks here, we'll need to flush this level, create a new level, reset some variables. We also need a way of implementing other ducks. Now the way we have this duck set up right here, the source rectangle is like we did this just for the black duck. If we do the other ducks, most of this is all the same, but the difference is going to be in the source rectangle and the speed. So I think what I'm going to do I'm not going to create another class, although you could just use inheritance and then reset your values for other colored ducks. But we can also do this in the, man, that's sloppy.
Got a black duck.
Duck.h class blue duck public duck and I don't think anything new goes in there. Class red duck public duck. I don't think anything new goes in here.
Well, except for the where you're getting the sprites from.
Right, the constructors will be different, so let's put a constructor in there. Blue duck. And it will need the renderer, so blue duck and then blue duck ren. And then our destructor blue duck. This will be public. This, like I did above, I'm going to define that right there. These should probably be private, that way no one tries to make a duck. I say that as if we're working on a large team, probably a little bit bigger than EA. Yeah, and that way no one else on our team creates a blue duck without using the renderer, because that would crash the game. Anyways, it's just us though. So blue duck, and we will inherit all of these things from above. So create definitions for your constructor and your destructor. And we'll do the same thing for red duck. Alright, back to the source file. We'll fill out those constructors with the different animations, and we'll be able to create a red duck or blue duck or a regular duck. So I'm going to copy all of this stuff. Texture was static, so we don't need that. But everything from my comment where it says for black duck down, the only way this would be a problem is if we tried to create a colored duck before the default duck. Anyways, we'll copy all of that. We'll paste that in the blue duck constructor. And let's modify the values. We're going to need the sprite sheet pulled up to see what's what. We're doing blue duck first. That's going to be over on the far left side of the sprite sheet. So our sprites are going to start at 0 on the X. They're still 38 wide. I think that worked out okay. So really we're just shifting the X over 0, 38. What comes after 38?
76.
76. So, like I said, source rectangle goes down to 0. Seems like it's pretty good. It just builds off of itself from there, doesn't it? Yeah, that's not bad. We'll set the speed. So what's the speed of a blue duck?
Random?
I mean, you could randomize it. It looks like speed for a black duck is 100.
50?
The blue duck has to be faster.
102.
.202. We'll play with that later. We just want to make sure it is faster and that the mechanics work, and then you go back and fine tune all of the little, how many frames and all that good stuff. Just get the mechanics working correctly first. What needs to happen in the destructor?
The duck dies.
Oh, the duck will be dead when the destructor happens.
So you have to create another duck? Or
No, we do that elsewhere. The destructor needs to free up all the memory we've dynamically allocated in the constructor. Are we going to have a memory leak? Because we don't do this very often, because up until now most of the stuff we create is there for the entire game. There's no need to delete it. But ducks are created on the fly and destroyed on the fly. So we have to deal with this, or we will have a memory leak. So we have a fly straight, a fly angled, a fly away, a shot, and a dead animation that need to be deleted. This needs to be done for all of the ducks. And if that is the case, if these are virtual destructors, can I just do this? Yes, I can just do this in the duck destructor and that will take care of it. We only need to do it once.
yeah, that explains it.
So up in plain duck destructor, delete fly straight, fly angled, delete fly away, There, that will clean up all these animations. The texture is static, otherwise we would delete that too. If we were loading in this texture every time, it would need to be deleted every time, destroy texture. But
what were the other animations?
But it's these 5. That's a rule. Anytime you dynamically allocate memory, if you use new, or if you use anything that allocates memory in the constructor, you have to clean that up in the destructor. Alright, that should take care of that. Let's test our blue duck. If that works, we're going to take a break. So let's go to game state. Here we're creating a duck. Let's try a blue duck. That's in the level constructor. I don't. Oh wait, that's not a blue duck.
Can I see the code so I know where you are?
The blue duck is broken. Which code?
The one you show right now.
We're in game state, we're in level. This is the level update function. We create ducks in 2 places. In the update function, when one dies,
I think it's.
and then we create them in the level constructor for the first duck.
So my blue duck works after I shoot the black duck.
Really? My black duck never even showed up.
For some reason, when my black duck showed up, it flew away immediately.
Okay, so some bugs in here. Apparently different bugs.
Yeah, I believe one shows that.
What did you do for this code? Because for some reason, every time I shoot it,
Sorry.
yeah, every time I shoot it, hold on a second. It's this code.
You start with the black duck. Make sure when you create your level it says new duck, but then in the update function, if you want to test the blue one, that's where you would do that. And then that should work just fine. And he appears to be faster.
I've got 0 where I built it, but I don't think that's going to affect it. I think there's a mistake somewhere else. I know it's not an exception there. Plaza was super fast. There may be a mistake.
Yeah, we can deal with that too. He also falls super fast.
There may be a mistake in the code there as well. Not necessarily in the code.
I don't know, we'll fix that in a minute. A few important things. You should never ever create a duck without the renderer, okay? To prevent that, in duck.h you can move your duck constructor up into a protected status. That way it cannot be accessed from the outside. That's the default constructor only. Now where's the other one? Okay, this constructor that needs the renderer, that one needs to remain public, so you can actually create ducks. But if you lock up the default constructor, then you won't be able to use it in the game state or anywhere else for that matter. So that's a little safety catch. And then the blue duck and the red duck, I made those both private. as well. So only the one with the renderer can be accessed. That will prevent you from trying to create ducks without a renderer. Alright, so blue duck is working correctly. We'll copy and paste again into red duck and then modify it a little bit. Modify the speeds and whatever. Like I said, you can iron those details out on your own. We just want functionality there. We want a red duck that is different from a blue duck. So I'm just going to copy all of that again into the constructor. We go, paste, and we need a new coordinate for X. And the way we coded this worked out really nicely because that's all we have to change with that sprite sheet. It works out really nicely. It looks like pixel 259 or 260. Not 260, it's going to be 259. Let's try that. And then to test it out over in game state CPP, change blue to red in the update. This seems to be working. I'm getting an occasional glitch when it creates a new duck. I'm not sure what that's from. But the red duck seems to work. We can now tweak some of its speed, and if you want it to flap faster, what was this? This is the screen time. We could reduce that to 4, so he'll fly a little bit faster that way.
I'm trying to figure out whenever the black duck is created, initially it's flying away instead of...
There,
Oh, yeah.
the black duck is initially flying away. Well, I would put a breakpoint in his flyaway state, and then look at all those variables. Is the timer bad? Because mine's not doing that, so somewhere yours is different than mine. Boy, he flies away fast.
Sir, where'd you change the speed?
Boom.
The duck?
Boom. I've changed it in 2 places. In the constructor here, I've set the speed. Now, I didn't do that for the black duck. I did this for the red and the blue. I set the speed right here. So if you think that's too fast, you can go 150 and then 300 or 250.
Oh.
Like I say, we can deal with speeds and cutesy stuff.
I think it's going too fast.
You can't shoot it if you... She needs like a shotgun.
Is that alright if I can see your alive case?
When does it fly away?
Oh, I need to make sure we're setting our current animation in our constructor. So I don't... Yeah, we do set the current animation. Fly straight. Okay, what did you need to see?
Your alive case.
So duck alive.
That's right.
Okay, the flyaway state, I'm going to hard code that velocity at -300 instead of time speed because it gets too fast for the faster ducks. So now he will just always fly away at the same speed. It will be fast. but not too fast. Maybe 350, I don't know. Play with it, but hard coding it to a specific number for every duck I think is going to be better than multiplying it by a certain speed. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Now if you want to randomize the direction the duck starts in, let's do that. Oh, the falling speed also needs to be adjusted, because right now if a really fast duck dies, he falls 3 times his speed, and that's not very good. So this will also be hard coded to 300 or what have you. That way he doesn't fall extra fast just because he's a different color. Well, they will fall the same speed actually. Now if he's on a different planet, he might fall a different speed. Yes, space duck hunt. On the moon he'll fall a little slower.
It's gonna be the inferior sequel that we charge with.
Yeah, space duck hunt 3D.
Yeah.
In VR, yes. Duck Hunt Revenge VR.
This time, you're the duck.
Well, you're the duck.
Dude, these ideas are writing themselves, my God.
It's just right in the morning, you always change like one thing.
What if you change the flag? I'll have a game where you're the duck and everybody shooting. That's fine, just as long as you pay me.
I want to randomize his direction whenever he's created. He always flies right. And so if I randomize this, equals speed times, we're going to multiply it by -1, or we could say rand I want him to fly left sometimes instead of always flying right when he's initially created. So we go rand mod 2, we get 0 or 1. And that's a bool, 0 or 1, question mark, speed, colon, negative speed. Why doesn't it like rand? Maybe this needs to be like that.
It's
See,
undefined.
Oh, whatever. No, it's right.
Rand is undefined. Where does rand come from? Is it math?
Well, we've
Standard library?
already used it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why it's not. Okay, it's definitely in the standard library. So you can include cstd_lib at the top. You created him going right. I have to do it for the other ducks as well.
Is CST dot lib or just lib?
C standard
That's STD.
library. That's what that stands for. C standard library. So where's my other ducks? X is going to be random there. And X is going to be a random here. And maybe the duck will go a different direction. I don't know if he'll be flipped though. Why is he not going a different direction? He always goes right. Oh wait, there he goes.
Right, but he went a different direction.
There he goes.
That's not how that works.
So an update, I'm going to make him if velocity dot x is greater than 0, what does that mean?
He's flying left to right.
It's flying right. Flip equals SDL flip none. And then we can say else, or we can just put another if in there. If velocity dot x less than 0, SDL flip horizontal. I can't spell that one. And if you wanted to randomize the clock so that your randomization is different every time you run the program, in main at the very beginning here we can do srand, and then we need a seed, so we'll pass in the clock dot there's a timer, time null. I think I have to include pound include cstdlib, that's to get random, and then pound include ctime to get the clock. And that will randomize the clock based on the current time. That way your randomization is different every time you run the program. So now our duck could potentially start flying left. If he didn't, he's a loser. We'll shoot him for that rebellious attitude. Okay. Now, all of that works. Let's go to game state and we'll randomize what kind of duck we get, or you could do it based on level. I think it's supposed to be a little bit random and a little bit based on level. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just going to randomize which duck we get. So int num equals rand mod 3. That's going to give us a 0, a 1, or a 2 for num. So switch case num equals 0. Create that new duck and we break. Case num equals 1. Duck equals new blue duck. And break. And then last of all, case 2. Duck equals new duck. Black duck. And we break. Now we should have random ducks every time one dies or flies away or gets shot. I'm winning. Alright, you can also adjust your flyaway time per duck. If you wanted to do that, you can say, well, the default duck is for noobs, so he can stay on the screen longer, and then in your constructors for your red or your blue ducks, like red's fastest, so you could set flyaway time here to shorter. Flyaway time equals 6 or 5 or whatever you want. Same thing for blue. Flyaway time, if it's 10 for black and 6 for red, then I will go 7.5 for blue. That's just me, and those are guessing numbers. Again, you can modify the timing however you want. That's not overly important as long as it's not terrible.
Can you go back to that switch statement you made?
This switch.
Alright, that makes sense. We'll find out.
We're just getting a random number, and then we're using that random number to determine which new duck we create.
Okay, now I know what you mean. Alright.
So if we were going to do a shot counter, where would you put that?
In the game.
In the level itself.
Yeah, it belongs to the level. If we had a player, we would say it belongs to the player, but you don't really need a player class for this game, so I would say it belongs to the level. So let's go to level.h or gamestate.h in the level header file, and we will do an int shot counter equals 0 or equals 3. You want to count up or count down?
Count down.
Okay, so we'll start with 3. And then in the game state, anytime a shot is taken, we'll take the counter down 1. Shot counter minus minus. And then if shot counter, I don't know if this really belongs to the mouse button operation though. We can just do this. We can do this in the general update of the game.
Are you in void? What? Are you on menu update or
Level update.
level update?
Level. Everything's in the level. Yeah, sorry. So in the mouse button up, shot counter will go down after a shot is taken. And then in the general update here, we'll just write an if statement that says if the shot counter equals 0, what do we do?
Initiate filing.
Okay, so duck state equals, can we do that? We can't do that from here. Yeah, but I can't set it to flyaway because that enum belongs to the duck class.
Did you make a go-to statement and just go to the duck class?
It won't let me do that. Huh?
Oh, just make a go-to statement to the duck class.
We don't do a go-to statement. What a heresy is that? What can we do? from here.
Can we just point duck to a flyway?
Well, we can't say it equals flyway. We tried that. We can say he's out of time.
No, pointing duck to flyway.
Duck air flyway.
Yeah. Instead of it saying duck state, just say flyway.
This one, that's an animation, isn't it?
Yeah. That's
Well, he'll take that animation and then he
no, I
won't.
meant the state.
The enum, you cannot access the enum.
Could you say flyway time equals away time? Or you set the time equals to the end time? Am I making sense?
Oh, you want to say he's out of time?
Yeah, just say he's out of time.
Oh, we can do this. We can do this. We can access flyaway through the duck itself, which is weird. I wonder if that works. I've never done that. Or that's what I was going to do, is say, you know, he's just out of time. The duck state timer equals the flyaway time. That would be another way of doing it. Let's see if this works.
So wait, when you set the original shot counter, did you put it to equal 0 or 3?
3. That didn't work at all. Okay. A couple other things that need to happen. If the shot counter equals 0, we need to put it back in shot counter equals 3. That needs to happen. But then why isn't he flying away?
Because he hates us.
I don't know what you said.
Because he hates us.
He hates us.
Duck is evil.
What is my shot counter?
I think we have to put that in the mouse button, like mouse button up.
Oh, that only happens if you hit the duck. That's no good.
No.
That was bad. Why didn't y'all catch that? That was bad. This is only if the duck is shot.
Oh, the animation one. The animation just made you kind of cool stuff.
Okay, it flies up.
It kind of goes up.
So it doesn't change.
Nah, so you change it.
People hate me.
You just put the animation in the.
Alright, let's try it the other way. Let's say instead of putting him straight into the state, let's say his timer runs out. Equals what?
Fly away.
Infinity. I mean, you could say it equals 99. And that will do it.
Al, you went pretty fast. Can you kind of go through the steps of what you did?
We have a problem. We can still shoot though. I changed it from changing his state directly. I ran the timer out because that will change the animation and the state. I just boosted the timer all the way past. I said 99 because I know no state is going to have a timer that long. Now, the next thing we need to do is make sure we can't shoot a duck if we're out of shots.
But also, when you shoot a duck, it still counts up. So
Yeah.
the next duck is less and less.
While it's flying away still.
Well, as long as we can't shoot it, the shot count won't go up.
In the mouse button up, you put all of that for the intersection if shot
Do what?
If shot counter is greater than 0, then you would put this and put that at 7 for mouse button number.
Well, we can do an and, right?
Yeah.
Fair.
Shot counter is greater than 0.
That did not work.
You know, I can shoot them anywhere.
Well, also, since it reloads every single time you run out, even if they're still on the screen, your shot counter goes back up to 3 as soon as it hits 0.
Okay,
We
so
should
that's.
make it like it's false. Be able to, like,
We should only renew the shot counter down here, right? This was bad. We don't want to do it there. We'll put it.
alive, and to stay alive.
Put it here. Well, the state doesn't own this variable. So we'll just say if duck is dead, then we delete the duck. We'll also put the shot counter to 3. It's only dead once he goes off the screen. So I think that will work for us.
Okay, yes it is.
Hey, Allie,
Sir?
now I got it where wherever you shoot, duck is dead.
That means you did something wrong with your collision detection here.
Okay.
Hey, do you have like the code for if you like you can't
Look at
shoot
this.
while it's dead?
Very carefully.
Sure, I do. That is do you have the kill duck? You have the kill duck function?
I know I do, I'm just trying to remember what it is.
If duck state is not equal dead, set state timer to 0.
So load in the foreground, we will
Are
go
you
to.
sure, Squeak?
I don't know, I'm not. Window. There we go. We'll add a texture. Foreground. Foreground. Is there an E? I don't even know. It is one word, right? Foreground?
Yeah.
Okay. So declare the texture in the level class, and then in the constructor, we'll load that in. Foreground equals img underscore load texture renderer, and the file name, which I think I said it was duck background.png. And then in draw, where's our draw function for level? Do we not have one?
The level we don't.
What are we using to draw the sky with? Oh, it's right here. It's just an update. That's fine. Sorry. It's right here. We copy the background in. We'll just copy in the foreground before or after.
After.
Should that be after you draw the duck?
You spelled copy wrong.
Yeah, we need to draw the duck between these two, right?
Yeah.
So let's move the duck draw up. And let's see how that looks. Man, this game is looking better all the time.
Ooh, oh wait, no, this one for me.
Hey, Allie, could you go back to the header file? Header file?
That is so cool. Okay, we need to bring our duck. Our duck is flying too low in the grass. That's not allowed. Tunnel duck? What did you need, Justin?
Could you go back to the game state header